Hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the Soulful Self podcast. My name is Hannah, your host, and this week we are diving into all things about the throat chakra. This is the fifth chakra if you have been following along in this series that I have made for you guys. And if I'm being honest, this is the chakra that I struggle with the most in my personal life, that I've struggled with the most on my journey. So I have a lot of personal insights that I can share with you to help you maybe understand this deeper for yourself as well. So we're going to dive into it. So, the throat chakra is all about communication, expression, using our voice, trusting our inner voice, truth, honesty, and speaking. When I think of the throat chakra, I think of my voice. And now this can encompass a lot of different aspects of our voice. Things like being able to ask for help when you need it, being able to negotiate, being able to speak your truth without the fear of judgment being attached to it, or being afraid of what others might think of you if you're sharing your truth. It can also look like using your voice to express yourself, to share your story, and to communicate your feelings. Maybe for you, it's writing or singing or poetry, podcasting, or even just sharing your feelings and experiences with a loved one. As a woman, I hold a lot of trauma here as well, from both ancestral and past life trauma. So if you resonate with anything that I'm saying, know that there can be a lot tied to, well, any chakra. It runs very deep. Trauma doesn't necessarily have to be from something that we experienced in this life that we are aware of. It comes from our ancestors, it comes from past lives. Some things happen to us and it becomes subconscious, we don't even know. So if you hear anything I'm saying and you're like, oh, that sounds like me, chances are you have a block in this chakra. When I was a little girl, anytime that I would get upset, I would feel my throat physically close and I would not be able to speak. I had no way to express what I was feeling, how I was feeling, and I would get so frustrated. And now, even after all the healing I've done around this energy, it's still something that I struggle with a little bit. But I've created an awareness, and I know for myself that if I get upset and I'm going to need to have a difficult conversation or be able to share my feelings with somebody, I personally just need a little bit of time and space to breathe, to feel, to process before I'm able to communicate and express myself verbally. Um, and it's something that I've come a long way from when I was a kid, but I just have these distinct memories of like crying so hard and somebody, my mom, whoever, be like, "What's wrong, Hannah?" And I couldn't talk. It's like I would try to speak and my voice was completely gone. So, if you were to take a look back at history, there is a lot of trauma linked to this chakra, which is where I've learned to understand deeper my struggles with this energy. For one example, women have been silenced for so many generations, not able to speak their truth, and I feel that pain very deeply, as well as a lot of ties I have to past lives. One in particular that I had an experience unraveling once where I was a witch, and I know that I was killed for sharing my voice, for sharing my truth, my knowledge, my wisdom. And I think for me, that would be why I bought a podcast microphone probably a year and a half before I started my podcast. I was just so frozen, and I would literally have to remind myself that I was safe, that that wasn't what was going to happen for me in this life. This life's not going to end in me being hung in the streets because I'm sharing my voice. But my soul felt that fear and that remembering of what it was like in other lives where I didn't have that option. And there are still a lot of people on this planet that are not allowed to share their voice. So for them and for our ancestors and for everybody who's ever felt they weren't able to say what they thought, how they felt, and held so much in, I think we have no choice but to share our voice and take that power back and heal that for our future lineage of our children and our grandchildren, so we're not passing on more of that trauma of being scared to be our authentic self, of being scared to communicate how we feel without all those fears that are tied to that expression. And I think that we owe that to everybody else, to all the people. I say women because I know women have a bigger trauma with this in history, but there are still people on this planet who it is illegal for them to share how they feel, their opinions, their beliefs. They have to keep it to themselves. So for them, I share my voice. For past me, past life Hannah's, I share my voice. For my lineage, who I know have trauma around sharing their voice, being silenced, I share my voice. So now we're going to dive into the energy of the throat chakra. The name for the throat chakra is Vishuddha, and the name is derived from Sanskrit meaning very pure or purification. This chakra allows us to have clear, honest communication. And I like to interpret this translation also as proof to show us that this is a way, our voice is a way that we can help to purify our aura or our energy. And we can do this by releasing emotions, burdens, whatever it is that you're holding on to in your energy that's holding you back, making you feel a certain way, dulling your energy. When we can express that through our voice, but any way that we're going to express with words, we're clearing that energy from our chakra. We are letting it go. So sometimes we have to talk about the things that happen to us. Sometimes we need to tell people if they hurt our feelings and have those conversations, even if they seem so difficult or it seems so scary. But it really can help us to get rid of that energy from our aura or energetic field and make our energetic field clear and pure and just so much more vibrant. So the phrase for the throat chakra is I speak, and the mantra is hum. The color that represents this chakra is blue. It is based at the location of the throat chakra is located at your throat, mouth area physically. The throat governs your throat and neck, jaw, mouth, teeth, tongue, vocal cords, thyroid and parathyroid, respiratory passages, and also your shoulders. Energetically, the throat chakra governs your ability to express yourself authentically, speaking your needs, desires, and boundaries, communication in relationships, living in truth rather than suppression, creative expression, which could be things like writing, singing, teaching, or speaking, confidence in your voice and your message, alignment between your heart and your words, the ability to listen deeply and hold space as well. So we know that this chakra is connected to our inner voice, external voice, honesty, self-expression, speaking your mind, communication, and speaking. But we're going to dive deep into some of these core themes. The first core theme I want to go over is authentic expression and the alignment between our inner and outer expression. So authentic expression means that we're allowing our inner and outer world to match. So this means that your beliefs, needs, boundaries, and desires are also being reflected in your outer world through your words and actions. So following through on what you say and staying true to who you are. It's speaking, creating, and showing up in a way that honors who you truly are, even when it feels vulnerable, and it's no longer shrinking, editing yourself, or muting your truth to make other people feel comfortable. And this is the chakra where you learn to trust your own voice and let it be heard, seen, and felt. No more masking, no more saying yes when your body is screaming no at you, no more shrinking to be accepted, to fit in, to hope that other people don't judge you. There is this trauma that I think most people on this planet share, and it comes from A, society creating this box and telling us we all need to fit inside, and B, just not fully knowing who we are, not self-accepting who we are, and we create this fear of other people not liking us. It stems very much from a place of the ego, because the ego is scared, the ego wants to survive. And way, way, way back in history, when we lived in tribes, if you didn't fit into the tribe, if you weren't accepted by the tribe, you were an outcast, they would push you out. And it was a survival mechanism to stay within the tribe. And I'm not saying that you have to go do something so outrageous to be different. That's not what it is. But it's knowing who you are and honoring who you are in an authentic way, and not changing who that version of you is depending on who's in the room. And it can be difficult to feel that confident in yourself and be able to fully express yourself in a way, not attach shame or guilt or fear or anything to it. But it is possible, and it's a gift to give yourself if it's to heal in that way and accept yourself so much that you don't care about what other people think truly. Okay, on to the next core theme, clear boundaries. The throat chakra is where you express your boundaries and not just set them internally. You need to express your boundaries to the outside world. This is the ability to say no. No, that doesn't feel right for me. No, I need more time. No, I'm not available for that. If you don't want to do something, you have to use your voice to say no, which is something I have struggled with so deeply. I have been learning to set boundaries, and my god, does it feel so good. It's such a scary thing to say no to somebody. Your friends ask you to do something, you just say yes, and you say yes, and then you got to see your mom and your siblings, and this person needs your help, and blah 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 blah, life goes on, and then you're dizzy. It's like you've been spinning, you have no time, you're exhausted, you're fatigued, your body is drained. And how many times when people asked you to do something, did you just want to stay home and recharge and have a bath or whatever it is? And you said yes, and then you feel so depleted. And it sucks because then you're showing up from a place where your energy is low. You are not the best version of yourself when you keep showing up and your cup is empty. That's why boundaries are so important, because like we have to be able to do what is best for us 90% of the time. 10% of the time, you can help other people if you're like, oh, okay, fine. But you have to take care of yourself. It's your job to take care of yourself. You can't put that responsibility on anybody else. And if everybody was good at taking care of themselves, it would be a lot easier to create this balance in relationships. Not saying that there's not times that people in your life that care about you are going to ask for your help, or you're going to need to ask people that you care about for help. And we lean on each other for sure, but it's very easy to become codependent on other people and not be secure and strong for yourself. So, healthy throat chakra energy means that you no longer need to abandon your needs in order to avoid conflict. The next core theme is honesty and integrity. Integrity means that your words match your actions. So, the way that you speak about yourself, others, and your life comes from truth, not an illusion, guilt, or fear. This also includes honesty with yourself. So, ask yourself, what am I really feeling? What story am I telling? What truth am I avoiding? The throat chakra aligns your inner truth with how you show up in the outside world. And this is self reflection. Okay, sometimes we need to take a step back and ask ourselves these questions. Ask ourselves, where are we struggling? Ask yourself, is this something that I really want to do? And it can be hard, and it can be scary, and it can be hard to learn how to show up for yourself in that way. But I promise in the long run, like it's so worth it. And it's such a powerful tool, such a powerful practice to have in your life. Be able to self reflect and really check in and really know when something's off. It makes it so much easier for you to make decisions, especially big decisions. But even things like, what restaurant do you want to go to? That stuff will still add up if you're not listening and honoring what it is that you truly want. The next core theme is active listening. So, a balanced throat chakra does not just speak, it also listens. So, there's some balance there. This is a deep, grounded, attuned listening that allows for others to feel safe, seen, and understood when you are communicating with them. It's listening without planning your response, without defending or projecting either. I think it's so easy when you're having a difficult conversation with somebody that you're going to project on them. We all do it all the time. And also without being defensive, and this comes from a lot of self-work. I think instantly we want to defend ourselves. We put up this wall and we want to fight because we don't want to be wrong, or there are still so many wounds inside of us that hurt and other people can't see these wounds. So maybe they say something to you and it causes you to feel so much pain. So then you start defending yourself. Maybe it's shouting, maybe it's saying things you know you're going to regret. However it shows up. If that person doesn't know that you have that internal wound, how are they supposed to know? And if they're coming to you to have a conversation and all you want to do is defend yourself, you're not going to get much out of it. So, again, a lot of inner work I see is very much attached to the throat chakra. It's receiving the energy behind words. So, being able to hold space, because holding space might be something that's talked about a lot in the wellness space, and it might be something that's overused or maybe not fully understood, but it's literally, I see it as like creating an energetic container where when somebody's inside this container with you, what you can have an honest conversation. You are all feeling what's inside this. So you're being empathetic, you're feeling what they're feeling, putting yourself in their shoes, understanding their situation, being the kind, compassionate shoulder that they need to lean on, and a safe place where people feel comfortable enough to be able to open up, to be able to say exactly what they're feeling. And a balanced throat chakra helps with that because, again, we're not just speaking, we're listening. Because if all you're doing is speaking, you're not giving other people a chance to speak. Then you can't, solve anything if all you're doing is talking and not listening. So, when this chakra is healthy, communication becomes a two-way exchange of energy instead of a battle or a performance or a self-protection mechanism. The next core theme is a creative voice. So, creativity lives within your throat. Speaking, singing, writing, teaching, storytelling, content creation, and sharing your message. It's not about being good at any of it, but it's about letting your truth flow through your voice without self judgment or inhibition. So, I don't care if you don't sound like a professional singer. I know it makes you feel better if you're sad to scream your favorite song at the top of your lungs while you're driving home from work. Let that out. It is a way for us to let emotions out, and it's so powerful. And again, talking, singing, speaking, expressing yourself however that wants to come out, writing, also because you're using words counts. So your voice becomes a channel for your intuition, emotions, and your soul expression. And when that's healed and when you can use your voice for that purpose, you can create so much magic and, again, like, purify your aura with that. So it's truly so powerful. The next core theme is speaking your truth. So this is the courage to say what needs to be said, not to be harsh or to be rude, but in order to be aligned. Speaking your truth often means choosing discomfort over silence, choosing honesty over people pleasing, and it's saying, this is what I feel, this is what matters to me, this is my boundary, this is my truth. So your voice becomes a tool for liberation rather than protection. It doesn't make you bad or wrong or anything to say what it is that you want. Whether it be, what do you want out of a relationship? If you are trying to manifest a relationship, or you're in a relationship and you're really trying to decide, is this my person? Like, have a list of things that you literally want. And if somebody doesn't if somebody's not exactly what you want, you have to be able to tell them that, because it's not fair to them, it's not fair to you to feel like you want or deserve something else or something better, because you're also holding that person back. Chances are, well, for sure, if they're not your person, you're not their person either. And that's not really fair to do to somebody, especially if at one point you love them. So, yeah, that would be, so speak your truth, whatever that may be. It's okay to tell people how you feel. Will people fall away in your life when you speak what truly is important to you? Yeah, probably. Especially the people that are unhealed. Unhealed people don't like people who are liberating themselves. Not in a conscious, I don't like this person way, but a subconscious state from jealousy, envy, fear from their behalf. They might lash out, they might, become very distant from you, but that's all unfortunately part of the process. The next core theme is communication. So this chakra rules over both sides of communication, both speaking and listening, which we did tap into. It's the clarity in which you share your thoughts and the presence in which you have, in which it's the presence with which you hear others. Healthy communication is honest, compassionate, and clear rather than reactive or withheld. When the throat chakra is balanced, your words land with intention instead of impulse. So, not planning out every single thing that you're going to say, but being in that centered, calm state when you're having a conversation rather than just getting heated and letting your words come out and saying things that you're going to regret. It's all part of the healing process. So, we're going to dive into balancing the throat chakra. We want to create balance within the throat chakra so that you can communicate clearly, speak with love, and express yourself authentically without fear. You feel confident sharing your ideas and truth with others. If your throat chakra is balanced, you speak clearly, calmly, and truthfully, express emotions in healthy and grounded ways. You can set boundaries with ease. You feel heard and understood. You listen with presence. You share your voice with confidence. And you share your voice with confidence. If your throat chakra is underactive or blocked, it can show up as a fear of speaking up, people pleasing, swallowing emotions, feeling misunderstood or invisible, tension in your jaw, neck, or throat, and indecision because your truth is unclear or unspoken. If your throat chakra is overactive, it can look like talking over others, speaking harshly, gossiping, or dominating conversations. Balancing the throat chakra. If you think you have an unbalanced throat chakra, these are some things that you can do to help. Listening to your inner voice and honoring it, developing that relationship with your inner voice and learning to trust it. Wearing the color blue, singing and humming vibration in the throat chakra. Automatic writing, if you don't know what that is, it's essentially when you kind of let spirit or energy just flow through you and you almost word vomit, but in a writing form. So you can set an intention or write something at the top of your paper, that whatever it is you're trying to get out, and you just start writing and let yourself write. And I can tell when I get into an automatic writing stage because my writing changes. If I'm writing something intentionally and it's fully me in control, my writing looks a certain way. And as soon as I get into automatic writing, my writing looks atrocious. And then I go back and read it and I'm like, what was I writing? So that's a really cool technique, and it can be very helpful, especially when healing and trying to dive deep into feelings and emotions that you have that might be difficult to speak. Automatic writing is a really, really good tool. Okay, release stored tension in your neck, shoulders, jaw. So stretching your neck, getting a massage, massaging your jaw, like every once in a while in the day, just like check in, like, am I clenching my jaw? Like, should I be releasing that energy I'm holding on? And if I have a tense jaw? Is there something that I'm not saying that I need to? Is that why I'm holding that in? Meditation can help, focusing on your breath, expressing your feelings through art, speaking your truth even in small ways. This is say what you actually want to eat or what restaurant you actually want to go to. Practicing things like that might seem small, it might seem silly, but it makes it easier to be able to do that in even bigger ways. Express your emotions. Say how you feel. Express your emotions, however it is that they come out. The sacral chakra is all about creativity and what you want to create and express as well. But your throat chakra is another way of expression. And I mean, the whole human experience, I think a lot of it is about art. So it is tied to, pretty much every one of our chakras. Those two are the main sources for creation, but just express your emotions. If that for you comes out through dance, express it through dance. If that for you comes out through, again, singing, writing, talking, having a conversation, just let it out. Vocalize how you feel. So you can have crystals such as amazonite, aquamarine, turquoise, lapis lazuli, blue lace agate, and blue sodalite. Essential oils like peppermint, eucalyptus, chamomile, and tea tree. Yoga poses like cat-cow pose, lion pose, shoulder stand, plow pose, or fish pose. Another way to balance your throat chakra is eating blue foods. So this is things like blueberries, blackberries, pears, plums, coconut, lemon, honey, and tea. I know not all those foods are blue, but the energy of them help your throat chakra as well. Affirmations such as I speak my truth with confidence, I do no harm with my words, I let my voice be heard, and I will not be silenced. Okay, we're going to dive into the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being and how our throat chakra can affect them. For our physical well-being, the throat chakra governs the throat, neck, jaw, mouth, ears, vocal cords, respiratory system, and thyroid gland, influencing your overall physical health and communication abilities. Promotes overall neck, jaw health, including the ability to speak and breathe with ease. It plays a key role in maintaining vitality through proper energy expression and physical well-being. Imbalances in the throat chakra can lead to health issues in the throat, mouth, vocal cords, neck, jaw, respiratory system, and thyroid. So, if you have a very under or overactive thyroid, which is super freaking common, it happens all the time. I think it's just at this point in society, in our health system, it's just something that's considered to be normal or happens to most of the population. So when I hear that and I see that and I witness that, I'm asking myself, how many people are not saying what needs to be said? How many people are holding back? How many people are not expressing their emotions and holding them inside? I'm thinking maybe that has to be correlated. It does have to be correlated. It is correlated. There's no way that that is a coincidence. And I also, don't quote me on this, I'm not a doctor, I don't know, but I think that it's more common for women to have issues with their thyroid than men. So if we can circle back to earlier when I talked about, the history of women and the trauma that is there for women not being able to speak up and stand up and share their voice for a very long time in history, there could be a lot of correlation there. Moving on to the mental well-being. Our throat chakra plays a crucial role in our mental clarity, communication, and alignment of your thoughts with your truth. Governs the ability to articulate thoughts, ideas, and beliefs clearly and confidently. Facilitates mental clarity and decision making as it allows you to express your authentic self. It promotes mental alignment, meaning your thoughts, intentions, and words are in harmony with your core values and truth. It enhances your self expression, enabling you to make decisions that reflect your authentic desires and inner wisdom. When your throat chakra is in balance, your thoughts flow freely and are more aligned with your higher self and life purpose. Imbalances in the throat chakra can lead to mental fog, self doubt, overthinking, and make it difficult to articulate your thoughts or feelings effectively. For our emotional well being, the throat chakra plays a key role in emotional expression and the ability to voice your feelings, your sense of your sense of emotional freedom. It governs the expression of emotions and inner truth through communication. It facilitates the ability to release emotions, blockages, and communicate openly with yourself and others. It promotes emotional balance, allowing for healthy boundaries and authentic emotional exchange in relationships. Enhances the ability to listen empathetically to others, creating deep connections and understanding. It allows you to communicate your feelings openly, leading to emotional release, healing, and growth. Imbalances in the throat chakra can lead to emotional suppression, fear of vulnerability, or emotional outbursts due to often unspoken truth or repressed feelings. Guys, I don't know if any of this is sinking in about how important it is to express yourself, and I'll share some of my personal experiences and insights in a minute. But first, spiritual well being. The throat chakra is deeply connected to your spiritual expression, authenticity, and alignment with your higher self. It governs your ability to communicate your soul's truth and connect with the divine through your voice. Facilitates spiritual communication and the expression of your higher wisdom. It supports the connection between your inner truth and the greater universal truths, allowing you to live authentically. It allows you to channel divine messages and spiritual guidance, helping you to stay aligned with your soul's purpose and your higher calling. It encourages your expression of your spiritual practices and beliefs without the fear of judgment, fostering an open and authentic spiritual life. Imbalances in the throat chakra can cause spiritual disconnection, leading to the difficulty expressing spiritual insights, feeling silenced, or unable to live authentically according to your soul's guidance. So, if you are resonating with maybe any of this energy and thinking, hey, I need to work on that, here are some journal prompts to help you journal on. Number 1, where in my life am I not speaking my truth? What boundaries do I need to express out loud? What is something I deeply want to say but have been afraid to? How can I honor my voice today? And what does my authentic expression actually sound like? If you are going to do a meditation visualization process to help you with this energy, to tune into this energy and see how yours is doing, closing your eyes, meditating, visualizing your blue light at your throat center, and noticing, being aware, open, not judgmental, and how does that energy appear to you? Is it bright? Is it dull? Is it dark? Is it light? Is it heavy? What does it feel like? Really feel that. What do you, when you're in this space, what is it that you want to say? What is it that you need to say to other people? If it's dull and small and dark and seems very blocked and heavy, that can very much be a sign that it's out of balance. And the same as if it's like too big and out of control. Are you gossiping? Are you being bossy? Are you talking over people all the time? These are things that you might want to check in with yourself about. Things like breath work can really help because it's breathing exercises and it's really engaging the energy in that throat. Chanting and singing are really powerful because it creates and activates a vibration in the throat chakra, and it can help to move energy in there. This is definitely the chakra that I have struggled with the most in my life. I did share about my experience when I was a little girl and having an experience of understanding that I've had past lives where this was my trauma. I have always struggled to ask for help. It's still something I'm learning how to do, and to be able to negotiate, or by negotiate, I mean not like in a market in Mexico and you're trying to get something for cheaper, kind of negotiating, although it's kind of good practice. It's important to know your worth so that when somebody wants something from you, you can have a price. I'm gonna use this from like a job example because I think this is probably one of the number one ways in our life where we have to negotiate. If somebody wants to hire you and you just take the job and then you find out you're not getting paid enough or something, as my dad just always bugs me about this. The reason why it's so important to have that energetic value of your worth before going into a situation like that, or not being afraid to say, no, actually, I'm not going to do the job unless you pay me ABC or whatever, is because it shows you and the other person that you know your worth, you know what you are worthy of, and that you're not going to settle for less. And it can become so easy to just people please. You want the job, so you just take it, and then later on you're suffering because you know you should be getting paid more or whatever the situation might be. And this happens in real life all over the place, all the time. There's so many different examples. And for me to start this podcast, I mean, even still some days I have a hard time showing up. I don't know if it's like I lose a lack of motivation, or I will take excuses to do other things. And I know it's important for me. It's like almost like a form of therapy for me to get here and to sit here and to share my voice, because it is so much a part of what I feel called to do. But some days it's still difficult to do it. It's not always easy, and I enjoy it. I love it. I love this community, and I'm grateful to keep watching it grow and expand and evolve. But it's not always the easiest for me to show up in this way, because I know that what I have to say, a lot of people don't agree with. I know that what I have to say isn't aligned with a lot of people. I know that what I have to say probably bothers and upsets a lot of people. It took me a long time to let myself be okay with expressing myself in what I believe and what I feel in my true life experiences. And I was so scared about what people would think and what people would say and what people do say and do think. And I had to learn to not care, because at the end of the day, what if what you wanted to do was going to help one person, two people, three people, 100 people, 300 people, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million people? You don't know. It can start really, really small, but all of a sudden it can grow to be this huge thing. And what if I have to say is going to help people? Isn't that more important than somebody who's unhealed and their feelings might get hurt about what I have to say? If I made myself stay small, if I never shared my voice, my opinions, and just because I was scared that somebody might not agree with me, or somebody might be offended, or somebody might feel hurt because they haven't done their own inner work to heal those wounds they carry, what about all those people that you could help potentially in the future? What about all the lives you could impact, even if just in the littlest, tiniest way? I think the good outweighs the bad. And I think that the more people that can authentically express their voice, the better off all of humanity, because the more that people do it, maybe I inspire one other person, and then that person inspires one other person. It's still going to keep going and create this huge ripple effect of more and more people coming into their own truth, making decisions for themselves, and being in this more healed space. So don't stay small, don't stay quiet. If somebody is hurting your feelings, tell them. If there's something that you really want to do, something that you really want to create, express, whatever it is, you got to do it. Not only for yourself, but for all those people that aren't as fortunate, all those people that maybe don't have the opportunity to do that, or are trapped or so fearful. And I wish, my greatest wish is that everybody in this world could experience inner peace and love and just all the good things about life, and that there could be so much more balance and harmony and connection and all the things that this universe, this planet, is missing so deeply, at least from what I've witnessed in my experience. And I think expression is a really, really big part of that. And again, it's not easy. I know. I still struggle with it a lot. But I just hope that me showing up here and sharing my voice can inspire maybe one other person to show up and share their voice, and so on and so forth. So that is all that I have for you and the throat chakra today. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys so much. I'm sorry this episode is a few days late. If you're following along every week, I am living my best life in Bali, and work has been crazy busy this week. So I was getting pulled in every which way. But I'm here and I did it, and I'm sorry. I love you. And I will see you next week when we dive into the third eye chakra. Only 2 more chakras to go, so it's coming to a close pretty quick. Okay, I love you and goodbye.